Hello everyone, welcome back to our new episode. Today we're in New York. Guess where we at? You guys can recognize right behind me. I've been here before. We're coming to check out the largest reef tank in America again, part 2, guys. We're super excited. It's been almost 2 years. I told you guys to post some comments with the questions that you guys want me to ask Andrew. So let's go inside, let's bombard him with a bunch of questions. Let's go check out the tank. Come on, let's go. And don't forget, guys, throughout this video, we're gonna hide an Easter egg of Casper somewhere. First 2 people to find them, post it on the comments below. We're gonna send your swag pack right to your door, as long as you're within the 48 states. Go find it. Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Pleasure to see you again.
No, thank you for having us over, man. It's been almost 2 years. I told people on social media that we're gonna be doing a little interview with you. A lot of people are very curious to know how do you do a lot of things, and this is not normal what you do. For you, might be normal, but it's not. So I want to shoot some questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so here we
happy you came in just to ask me some questions.
All right, there you go. I've been trying to come for a while, but here we are.
Yeah.
All right, so let's shoot. So one of our viewers asked us, since your aquarium is so large, does he prefer to do larger water changes to keep nutrients down, or does he use other products to remove phosphates and nitrates other than your 2 protein skimmers that you have?
We use about 8 to 10 buckets of Roa GFO at a time.
Okay.
Changed every 3 weeks to a month. The phosphates, because of the volume of the water, even when I put in brand new GFO,
okay,
it never gets below 0.07, 0.08, and I know it's time to change it when it's 0.12.
Okay.
Okay, like that's my range.
And do you see algae when it start getting on those
No,
numbers?
it just I can see it. You know, getting it out. Sometimes it turns into a brick.
Got you.
You know, if you have the flow.
It's just all stuff into like a rock.
Yeah, yeah. And it takes 2 men 3 to 4 man hours to get all the GFO out.
3 to 4 man hours.
3 to 4 man hours.
Are you guys listening to this? 3 to 4 man hours.
If there's one guy or 1.5, it takes a half a day for my GFO to do.
Wow. How many pounds is this?
It's 10 Roa buckets. So you got to get it out, then you got to get it in, you got to rinse it.
You got to rinse it, yeah.
And we take tank water, we just do a 600-gallon water change. I just rinse it through and then plug it in. But it's a half a day.
It's a lot of labor.
It's a lot of labor.
Intensive.
It's a pain in the neck labor. And also because my the actual reactors, they're not like thumb screws, like they're bolts.
Yeah.
And they're, you have to.
So you have to use a tool.
Yeah, you got to use a tool.
Yeah, I mean, I will hope so with something so large.
So it takes a long time.
Okay.
Sulfur reactor keeps the nitrates in check.
Yeah.
So much so that we continue to suck some of the sulfur level down. We got it almost to the point now where the negative ORP hangs out at minus 200, not bottoming out at minus 400.
Got you.
And we keep about 10 nitrates in here, and we can do that now with the flow rate through the sulfur reactor pretty much now without adding nitrates.
So it's basically a denitrator, the sulfur reactor.
Denitrate, yeah. And
for those of people that might know, like a lot of people used to use them maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And the smaller tanks, people don't use them anymore.
No,
but I think it's a great tool.
Listen, we got to blow with an air pressure to dislodge the mum.
Yeah.
In both the sulfur chamber and the aragonite chamber, which is hooked up next to it.
They just get too compact.
And we just literally the same thing. We do blows all the gunk up, and it just goes down the drain for another 600-800 gallons.
Got you.
And we siphon then some of the sulfur out a little bit, make it nice and clean, and plug it in.
Okay. So basically.
And so there's those 2 things, and the water changes are mostly for backwashing the sand filter.
Okay.
And we do that once a week, and it's 1,000 to 1,500 gallons.
So that's how you remove nutrients, basically.
Yeah, and then I would say another 1,000 gallons, maybe less a week, on all the quarantine systems, we use this water.
Okay.
So
So you're trying to use the double. That makes sense.
I use this water into the coral vats, and then we'll take my vat water, which is ESV.
Yeah.
I fluff it up a little higher to almost moonshine levels,
Okay.
and then use that water in here.
Gotcha. Are there any fish that you regret putting in your tank?
Yes.
Which ones are?
Like, I put in those 2 Red Sea pearl scale butterflies
Okay.
from Egypt.
Where are they?
Right there, there's one right there. They're both up top, eating
Okay.
they're all picking on my coral. Oh, no, they're coming back now.
I see them
Those 2 guys,
right here. They're
Yeah,
coming. They know that we're talking about them.
they do not like polyps.
They're teasing you. They're teasing you right
teasing
now.
me, yeah.
So you regret putting them in there.
Yeah, they've been a little better since we got them, but you pick. Anything with new polyps, pick.
Do you feel like the tank is so big that it doesn't really affect the corals because they bounce from one coral to the other?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because in a smaller tank, if you put that,
Yeah,
your coral's dead.
Yeah.
They will pick your coral within 2 days. They'll be done.
I mean, there's a blueface angel a big blueface that likes to pick on some of the SPS up front too.
so you always been a big angel guy.
Yeah.
You knew going into this that was going to happen, correct?
Yeah. I've seen my annularis
Yeah.
literally take up and eat branches of red dragon.
Like literally, just
Literally
take them out.
Just bite a piece of red dragon off.
Just
It's like that big.
that's expensive meal.
I know.
You better buy him some
know.
fancy shrimp or
So,
something.
So there are SPS they don't touch in here, and learning what those are, and same thing with the chalices, and learning what that is. You're the one that said, how come your bird's nest don't have any green on it? It's all brown. Because the butterflies eat the green polyps and they leave the brown polyps.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Never seen that before.
Yeah.
Insane. So basically, those 2 butterflies will be the main ones that you will get out of the tank.
I would say those 2 guys. I
He's
would say
picking
the
right now.
next 2 butterflies that are sort of bad are those raccoons coming right in front of you, the
Yeah.
Red Sea raccoons. I mean, they leave SPS alone, but everything else is getting tasted. The blueface is pretty bad tasting.
And will you say the butterflies are worse than the angel picking up corals?
They have their moments.
They have their moments.
Depending on which coral.
Depending on which one it is.
I mean, I saw a big angel. I think it was the big scribble. Literally pick a carpet anemone up in his mouth like a dog bone and carry it around the tank.
A carpet anemone.
A carpet anemone.
It's supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah, I know.
The carpet anemone is supposed to eat the fish, not the fish.
So it really depends
On what mood they are.
The leathers pull. I mean, the angels pull the leathers down.
That's bad.
Yeah. So
And then they can stress the tank if the leather's too big.
Yeah, there's only a few that they allow in here, and I can't figure out why some they're okay with and some they're not.
Okay.
And I would say, the heniocuses, they're sort of like, they come in with the gang squad and taste a lot of things too.
Yeah.
You can't put LPS in there with them. So it really depends on whether you want to, I can get rid of fish so that my SPS are more polypy. I can get rid of fish to make it fully reef safe, but that would require a lot of fish to get it pulled out of here.
Yeah, that would be too much work. So since you said that, I'm having issues on my tank in my office. I got an 80-gallon tank, and recently this copper band started picking up my acants and my blastomusas, so I got them out. Here, I don't see you have many acants, and obviously
You can't have acan in here.
Exactly. So this is where I'm going with this. You do have a 2,500-gallon tank that you're working on,
Upstairs.
and will you still be putting some of this fish in there?
Nope.
No.
Nothing that's not reef safe and nothing that's bigger than this.
So just maybe a couple tanks and just reef safe fish.
Amphius, gobies, wrasses.
Couple tanks.
I'm not even the tangs. If
pick.
they get too big, are getting yanked. I
It's
want
true.
it very lagoony. I want it different.
You want a different feeling
I want a
than this.
different feel.
Cool.
And you know, A-cans are one of those things that, like, the minute something touches it,
They don't
it
stop.
deflates.
Yeah.
It deflates.
Oh, and then
yeah,
the core
gone,
just
gone,
stress from there on.
Gone. Yeah.
Is there a fish that you've been trying to get that you cannot get a hold of? Is there a fish that you really want on your list that you have to have?
I would love to. I would love to have 2 deep water fish again.
I know
would
where
love
you're
a
going
I
with
would
this.
love another peppermint angel,
Okay.
and I would love a Nahaki angel.
Yeah. So let's talk about the peppermint angel. How long you kept him alive?
I think on average about 7 years.
You kept one alive for 7 years.
Several.
It's pretty impressive, buddy. I'm
That's
jealous.
what they say, but I feel like it should have been better, like 10, 12. And when you autopsy them, they have internal nematodes, you know, and go try to get that fish to eat medicated food. Good luck.
No.
No way.
Good luck getting him to eat. Good luck to
Good
keeping
luck
him
to get 'em
alive.
eat. Yeah,
Good
not
luck
good.
to keep him alive for more
Yeah.
than a month.
Yeah,
You know?
I know.
So I only seen that fish in person once or twice. I
Yeah.
think the first time I came here like 3 years ago, I think
Right.
you had one or a couple of them.
Yeah.
And I seen
Not a
them,
great investment. Not a very smart fish.
But you're gonna get it again.
If the right diver went for them and held them, and I knew that they were decompressed,
The
whatever,
correct way.
and I knew that they were eating, and not just picking on rock. They don't look up at the water column, Vic. That fish.
They don't know what a column is.
They don't know what the water column is.
How deep for people are watching? How deep those fish get?
400?
collected from? 400 feet.
Yeah.
So it takes a special diver with a rebreather to be able to grab
but
that fish.
like there are other fish in here, like the abai angel, also just as deep, will eat and is a much better investment and much tougher fish. Those narcosis angels that I have in the back,
Yeah.
the same 400 feet, much tougher fish.
Gotcha.
Peppermint angel.
So you say peppermint angel's one that you want, and the other one is what?
Nahaki.
Nahagi. I'm not sure if I know what a Nahagi angel
Yeah,
looks
it's
like.
a Hawaii endemic. And
Huh?
of course, I mean, I would love to try a Bellina angel
Yeah.
but you can't get them.
You know what I want?
What do you want?
Resplendent angel, but you cannot get them either.
Yep. Similar.
Comes out some Kings Island or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I would love to get that fish just to see it.
Yeah.
What made you build such a big tank?
My marriage went bad on the. Marriage blew up, and the other tanks were only 800 to 1,000. So
Only
well, you know, when you
nano tanks.
when you get hit with a left hook and you get knocked down, you get up bigger.
But
This is my bigger.
you went from 800 to 1,000, Andrew.
Hey, you go bigger.
All right, so you just wanted something, but is this a dream of yours that you have for a long time, or one day you say, you know what, I just want a large tank?
I used to go to the Long Island Aquarium and Joe's tank and stare at that window and wondered if it was possible. And basically,
So you got inspiration from that?
yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
I like it. Interesting.
Very, very much.
So my dream is one day to have a pool, to turn a pool. That's something you can dive and just literally just swim in it.
You
know?
could probably do that in Florida easier than you can here.
Yeah, I would think so.
Saltwater pool, you know, there's algae issues and
Oh, like everything,
there's a
I
lot of yeah.
I mean, a tank this big, I don't have a tank this big, but I can only imagine the challenges that you guys run into from week to week. It's always something
Just,
new.
you know, you can't turn it's like turning the Titanic when the iceberg's coming. Doesn't turn very fast.
No, it
You
doesn't.
can't just like do a reset, or you can't pop a number quickly, or you can't, you know. That's the most annoying part.
Yeah.
You want to change flow in your tanks or one of your
It's a lot
store tanks?
easier.
I changed some MP60s,
Couple
a
bonds
couple
and-
of pumps. Here I'm waiting for the Abyss 400s, and they have to get the right mounts, and we have to. It's just like a whole
And the
process.
programmer and someone got to go in. And
Exactly.
It's a lot more challenging.
Yes.
Does this tank have a refugium?
No.
No? Okay. That's an easy one.
Don't need it with the sulfur reactor.
I've never been a big fan of refugiums. I don't keep any refugiums on my
I
tank.
tell you, we have one little itsy bitsy one on those 250s in the lab.
Yeah.
red macroalgae, the red pom algae
Okay,
growing.
you notice a
with
difference?
monoscats? Yeah, I noticed my barium, my iodine and barium gets sucked up. That's what I noticed. About that, everything else, no, I don't notice a single thing.
Do you send your water for ICP all the time?
I would say every 2 weeks for sure.
You send your raw water as well, or just?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, interesting.
And because of that, we just changed our beads, the DI resin,
Yeah.
to anion and canthion, and then a mixed bed.
If I remember correctly, when I spoke to you last, your RO water comes so clean here in the state, in upper state. Is that where we are? Upper state in New York?
No, we're in Long Island. It's pretty clean. It's only 40.
Don't say that.
It's 40 TDS
40 TDS, okay.
and relatively soft, but
Okay.
it's got silicates.
But let me tell you something. You know what mine comes at?
Yeah, like what, 300?
Yes.
Hey, Florida water. It's disgusting.
And I'm having issues. Lately I had some issues because the pipes in the plaza, they broke.
Yeah.
And it's been on and off, and they keep patching instead of fully repairing it. So I'm not getting the correct pressure. So we were having such a hard time making water. It was so we literally redid our entire RO system, and now we've been sending RO water, 2 samples.
Yeah.
And finally they told us the water's too clean, they can't find nothing. I mean,
That's
we're
good.
just running through so many stages, but I'm jealous that your water's at 40, mine's coming at 300.
Yeah.
That saves you a lot of headaches, right?
A lot of membrane headaches.
A lot
Yeah.
of members. Those are not cheap.
No. When I worry about my RO water, I worry about the silicates and the resins. I don't worry about anything else.
Gotcha. Somebody wants to know, how many people does it take to maintain an operation like this?
When you say operation, you mean all the tanks, all the quarantine?
Everything that you do.
Everything
So
we
for
have
instance,
here.
for those of you guys are watching, you guys have a YouTube channel,
Yep.
follow Reef.
Yep.
You're a philanthropist, right?
Yep.
And
Instagram.
you're helping the community. You're trying to get the hobbyists bigger. Your conservations,
Yep.
universities,
Yes.
aquariums.
Yes.
It's
And
not easy.
schools.
So
And
that's what I
schools.
mean. You're doing videos. You're helping schools. You're helping the community in general. You're a speaker. You're taking care of a 17,000 gallon tank. You got several 300 gallon tanks all over the place.
And
You
a
ha-
2,500 coming.
Exactly, that's where I'm going with it. You got a 2,500.
900.
900 drop shaped, it's coming soon.
And a new koi collection.
Exactly, you got a koi thing out there.
Do
So
you want to know why I'm more anxious?
that's why. So this is where my question is. So it's a lot more, you guys watching at home, everyone thinks, hey, it's a 17,000 gallon tank, which is 16 by 16.
It's not.
That's
There's
one part of it.
quarantine. There's a senior Aquarius. You got to have dippers. You got to have people that are constantly cutting corals and know how to go underneath with flashlights and look for pests.
Scheduling things. Where you going
Scheduling
next?
things, mopping, algae cleaning, frag brushing. So the answer is, I would say 5 or 6 or 7
So 5 to 7 people.
to run the maintenance part. Not all of them are here at once because the people have days off and stuff. Sometimes we're just 3 of us. And then there's probably another 3, 4, 5 of us on social media.
So you got almost it takes to run everything, it takes close to 10 people.
Including the social media, I believe. 12, we're 12, Patty? Including some of the camera people and editors. Yeah.
So 10 to 12 people. That's very impressive for the size of what you're doing. I mean, if someone can relate to what you're doing, it's me. I mean, I'm running several large display tanks.
I saw you're hiring too. I saw an advertisement. On
What, you want a
Instagram.
job?
I just saw you're hiring.
There you go. Maybe you can do an internship. You can teach us a thing or two about fish.
Hey, maybe you can send some people here to teach us about flat with some pests.
I'm good at that, seriously.
You
I
are
dealt
good.
with them enough.
know.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're dealing with 17 years in the hobby, you know what you fight and what you don't.
Exactly.
But so one of the things that I wanted to mention is, to me, in my eyes, you're one of the most knowledgeable guys when it comes to fish in this industry. You've been doing it for a very long time. You're very passionate, and you're doing very rare fish, very expensive fish. You deal with veterinarians, right? You're doing like you're saying, autopsies on fish. You're doing medication, injections, and so how that come about? Like, so when I spoke to you 2 years ago, you were breaking down all these medicines that to me is a foreign language because I'm a coral guy. I'm not afraid to say it on camera. I'm a passionate guy for corals. I love the hobby. I deal with fish, but it's never been fish my passion. And again, I'm always looking up to you when it comes to this fish and all these stories that you have.
I think I just always wanted to be a pharmacist.
Is that what it was?
Life.
Is that what it was?
Maybe. How did I learn? I learned through reading. I learned through knowing which disease is resistant to each. Like, you have to be able to read those research reports, and what things are resistance and all those stats that they give you.
Yeah.
Scientific journal stuff. I read them.
So basically, that's you leading the fish medicine and.
Yeah, and then I get help from veterinarians. We have pretty good access to public aquarium veterinarians and so forth.
Yeah. So.
And really good tips.
Yeah, because earlier you showed me your koi pond, and you were telling me that when you have an issue, that you have to bring an expert, where they have to get the fish out and treat it.
Yeah, we just had a case where just an ulcer. Where was that ulcer? On the chin?
Yes.
The belly? Yeah, they shoot them with Baytril.
So you get the fish out, they put them in like a smaller tub or something like that?
Just like that.
They treat them underwater?
Yep. I mean, we've treated fish with Baytril injections here, too.
Yeah.
It's getting them out, getting them into quarantine. Getting them out is a whole...
So there's a question from me. How do you get fish out of here?
When they're too sick, you can get them out. That's the problem. When they're healthy and they just have a little thing wrong with them, they evade you. They dive into
because if they're sick, they're not eating, so you can't lure them to come and eat.
Yeah, or they're blind. It's very easy to get, but it's too late. So the way you get them healthy is food trap, but then you get like, we set up like a basket. We feed in the basket, and you pull the basket up. Same thing with a crab trap, but you'll get like 50 fish at a time, and then not necessarily the one you want.
And then all the other fish are stressed.
I can guarantee you, the fish you want doesn't want to go in that mob scene. The fish that you want tend to protect themselves. They have a bad eye. They have whatever.
They're staying away.
They're staying away.
They're having a bad time.
They eat. They're fine, but they don't want to go into that mob scene.
Because they know if the other fish sees them, they see them as weak.
Or they have a bad eye. They're blind in one eye.
Do you see sometimes a fish turns weak and all the other fish turn on them?
I've seen it a few times.
And you have to remove that fish, obviously, right? That's the only way.
And that's another case where don't be too late.
You have to catch it early.
Yeah, like at the corner when they're being harassed, but not beat the crap out of. We just took a male Bellis angel out of here because the other male Bellis was beating him up, and we put him in the 300 in the back now.
And now he's happy.
With 2 or 3 other girls. Yeah, he's fine.
Cool. What is your biggest daily challenge of keeping a tank of this size, like in a regular basis, every single day?
That kind of stuff. A fish has got a bad eye. You got to get him. A coral falls and it's on another coral, and we're not scheduled to dive for another week. And how am I going to get that coral from not stinging that other coral? And we got to go on the boards on the top of the tank. We have this pole with a hook. We call him Captain Hook. But we can hook coral and just move it to a safe spot on the sand.
For the meantime, until you dive next time.
Until you get another dive.
So your biggest challenge basically is just...
And the only problem with that is if you have company coming over, it's like you start worrying about who's coming over, is the glass clean, that kind of thing.
So it's the stuff that you don't expect.
Right.
So it's not the day-to-day. You got to clean the glass. You got to feed the fish. The protein skimmers do for this, whatever,
Correct.
water test.
Correct.
It's just all, and there's always something happening when you have, if I have to take a guess here, you have 250, 300 fish?
I think more.
More?
Probably because things on the bottom.
So it takes just 1% of your fish to have a problem, and you have 3 or 4 fish just swimming around with an issue. So definitely something can happen, and then just...
Yeah, I'd say the other annoying thing, more so than that, would be like just to watch 2 or 3 pieces of Acro RTN on you, and you're sitting there like
You want to get in, then you're like, what do
you're
I
like
do?
you want to pull it now and try, and then but the dive's not till tomorrow, and you want to see if it's flatworms, and by the time you get to it, it was flatworms, and you can only save a little of it, and then you're wondering if it's next door, like that kind of crap.
Just, again, the unknown. It's just
The
stressful.
unknown.
Okay.
I had an Oregon tort, beautiful Oregon tort that just started to white out on me, and we took it out and we saw bubble algae in it, and it just, the whole thing is just
destroyed.
What
is the most difficult maintenance routine on a tank this size? Like the single most difficult thing to do in the tank? I would think it's cleaning the glass for some reason.
No. Those magnets, those F-18 Mighty Mags, they like, you put one in the end over there and hold the other one here, it comes to you. They come together, and then you can get a nice thing.
So cleaning the glass hasn't been a big issue for you?
No.
So what is it then?
The hardest part would be like
water changes, maybe?
Changing the flow. Like all of a sudden, even just putting in an Abyss cannon and mounting it is a big deal. The Hydro Wizard, big deal.
So playing with the flow, it seems like it's one of the most difficult things?
Yeah, and the sumps too downstairs. And now
What's difficult about the sumps?
Well, 1,300 gallons per minute come crashing down in there. There's a lot of micro bubbles, creating dams, baffles, and so forth. And then we have a slight TGP problem.
What's that?
That's the total gas in the
Oh, you were
water.
mentioning to the
Yeah, it's a little high. The oxygen concentration is running in the mid-8s. The nitrogen concentration's up there, so the residual's up there. And you can see it in occasional in a fish's eye, a bubble in an eye. You'll see it mostly on, I mean, I've had triggers just have embolisms. Just
How do you fix it?
you degas.
How?
The way aquariums degas or koi people degas through Baki showers, having water dripping through atmosphere, bioballs. But the tower's got to be 8 feet tall, 7 feet tall. You got to build it. It's got to be on the right side of the tank. In other words, we'll probably have the filter, the skimmers where they fall into the sump. That will probably fall into a chamber now before it goes into a sump. We have to replumb it. Yeah. And then on the returns, we may have to build something to take gas or cavitation out. Literally, it's like these 3M membranes.
So you built them already?
No, but we're talking to the aquariums now.
Okay. To build something.
And like you gotta find different aquariums that did it different ways because you only have certain amount of space. So one way they did it doesn't fit on your tank.
Got you. It's not all the same.
It's not all the same.
You got to custom build it, basically.
You got to custom build it.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. If you have to start from zero, what will you do different? Or what will you change based on your experience?
Well, now, I wish we would have built a degassing chamber.
Okay.
Okay, that and turns out that big commercial aquariums that have thousands of gallons being moved around per minute and dropping, 50 feet and moving around, they have them. They know.
And you
because
didn't know about
pumps
that before.
cavitate, micro bubbles, and what the hell knows? So we have this meter that we bought from Pentair that measures the gases.
Gotcha.
And then, you put it in here versus any of the other systems, it reads 3, 4, 5 points higher than all the other systems. And I wonder if that's why I'm having issue with the clams.
Yeah.
I mean, think about clams they're about filtering the water,
Yeah.
right? If there's excess gases in the water, I can see it affecting clams. But I can't be for sure. So we're not going to do the clam thing again until that gas pressure is fixed.
Okay, so you would change that. Will you change anything on the size, lighting, flow?
The flow will be changed. The Hydro Wizard from Pantaray will change to the Biz 400, and there'll be 3 Biz 400s in here, which is their medium size like that.
Yeah.
And then we can get rid of some of these little cannons that we jerry-rigged. And the idea is to have it in a cocoon, bounce them off the walls, you know, because they'll be on the back, and they'll bounce. We'll make one bounce probably like in the middle of this wall, so you'll get flow here, and then we'll bounce another one over there, and so the whole reef will be in a cocoon, yeah.
Okay.
Of a Biz 400s.
Gotcha. So that's the only thing that you will change.
That and the
chamber.
The chamber.
The gas and chamber. Like most reefer, do you wish you went bigger? Which I think is a humorous question. Seriously, have you ever said maybe I should have went a little bigger?
No.
No?
Not once.
You think you went too big?
No. No.
Okay.
That's fine. You know, people say, why didn't you do this? You should have done this as a predator tank, and the upstairs is the coral tank. You get a lot of opinions like that.
Yeah.
In fact, this was supposed to be the coral light tank, and upstairs was supposed to be the coral heavy tank.
Oh, this was supposed to be a fish tank with some corals. It was more like a regular, just like leathers, mushrooms, just like.
I thought it would
coral
be
was the
yellow
after.
turbinaria. I thought it'd be like that kind of thing. Few different species.
Then you couldn't help yourself, but just
couldn't help myself.
You always want the goodies.
That's it.
Got you.
That's why it took so long.
So Andrew, a lot of people want to know how you get into this hobby. How long you been in this hobby?
You know when the sperm and the egg contact each other?
That was you already there?
Maybe. I remember 7, 8 years old going on bicycles to the aquarium. My grandfather taking me to the fish stores.
So your
kissing
grandfather's
gouramis, live bearers, to you know, Oscars and Lucananis, and then to
so freshwater is what you started with.
Yeah, discus and angels, to salt.
And when did the salt start it?
Like high school, a couple of years before college. And that's not a good combination.
Had the gravel filter?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, it's maxi jet pumps.
With the pumps, the reverse flow.
Yeah.
At the end.
Maxi jets.
Maxi jets.
That's funny, man. It's come a long way, the hobby. Look at this behind you.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this for a long time.
Long time.
All right. It shows, man. I mean, look at the love you have for this hobby. What is the process that you use for quarantining your fish, and how long do you do it for? Because that's a very good question, because I know me personally on my fish, I don't do as many fish as you do on my display test, so I go long time. I let them there until they're healthy enough. So if it's got to be a month, 2 months, 3 months, I leave them there. But sometimes you don't have the luxury because you got more fish coming in all the time. Right?
Correct. Making room for fish is that's a whole art.
Yeah.
You're moving them around and figuring out who can get moved around to where. But generally, I have to decide on a base soup. And that base soup is either copper power, right?
Okay.
And then I get the level up to therapeutic levels over a couple of days. And then we start the prosy after 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in the water or in their food or both. Or certain fish we have found better to do the base soup in chloroquine phosphate.
Yeah.
They do better in it instead of copper.
But
chloroquine phosphate you can't test for. You don't know the biodegrade. You don't know exactly what's happening. So there's an art to it. You know, I go to 50 milligrams per gallon and I bump it up by 10% over 3-4 days. And then I do a water change by the 5th day with that same 50 milligrams per gallon. So the whole tank, I know where I'm flying all the time.
And you came with that recipe based on experience and trial and error?
Yeah.
It's not easy, man. I'm so impressed with all this stuff.
And like I wouldn't treat a clownfish or a chromis or a fish that like gets Brucnella or Uranemia. That's the med to go to.
Yeah.
Or you got to use copper from Allen. You got to use
From
Allen mixed with copper, because the
So-
formalin will take the brook and the uranium sort of out.
So it depends on what you're dealing with, and
Depends what I'm dealing with.
you become pretty good at spotting what's wrong with the fish for the most part.
Exactly.
Again, I'm super impressed with this. I got a lot to learn, guys. Last but not least, in the last decade, we've been using LEDs nonstop, and I know you still use a few metal highlights. What are your thoughts on where the technology is taking us so far with the LEDs?
Getting better and better.
Yeah.
The UVB, like below 380, 370, 380, that an LED chip, you'll never get it in a unit. They can make UV LED chips. It's colorless. They're not purple like
Okay.
the sliders say. They just degrade very quickly. So to put them in a unit with all the other LEDs doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It's unclear whether the corals actually need it.
The UV.
Yeah, it's unclear. Although they color up differently, right? Because pigments of the corals.
Yeah.
And then there's the 800 and above. Well, let's say above 750.
Par.
Yeah, no, on the reds.
Okay.
On the
that's
other
wrong.
side of the spectrum,
Okay.
where LEDs have a tough time going, and that metal halide can get you a little bit more red, 800 type spectrum and chlorophyll. Again, shallow water coral, deeper, they don't see red.
No, they don't.
Right. So this all depends on where the coral's collected, what depth, whether it's SPS, LPS, etc.
Nutrients levels too.
Yeah, but it's getting harder and harder to find halide bulbs. Like I've been looking for a halide bulb for the clam tank to match. I can't find a 250 watt 14K bulb or anywhere.
Only Ushu's 20K, right?
I have Ushio 20s. I have 400 watt 14s. I have, but I cannot find a 250 watt Hamilton 14K or Reflux 12 bulb like that. You can't find them anymore.
Not even in Europe. They don't know they
You
use
can't
them.
find them. So you're dealing with,
An old dinosaur.
yeah, and you saw but that old dinosaur looks really nice upstairs, right?
Yes.
When I showed it to you?
Yeah, metal highlights are beautiful.
They're beautiful. We're gonna try the Kessel 500 too and compare it to the halide.
Last one is that since we got some of the audience, maybe they can find us some metal highlights for balls for us.
God,
Someone's got to have them out there.
Tulio says he's gonna have another batch soon, but can't
Can he
find
make
them.
them? Can Tulio try to make them?
Yes, they'll try to make them, but they have these new laws these import laws where they could be like illegal. And the real problem is that the commercial aquariums, they need them. They need them for their animals. And I don't mean they need them for like mammals.
To keep the aquariums warm too.
Yeah, and the UV, and you definitely need reptiles on the UV.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And some of those huge, deep aquariums. Kessel has a big commercial.
Metal highlights?
Nope.
Oh,
they're
you
Kessels.
lost me.
It's a regular Kessel.
It's a regular Kessel.
Okay.
But they have a big commercial division
Okay.
where the light can punch through, and that
Like a Canon?
It's
Like a
like
mass spec-
it's like a Canon, a little smaller,
Okay.
but the light looks a lot like a Radium 20K halide.
You
A
like
lot.
it?
We'll see.
You like more of your 12, 14K. You like that white.
I like 14, 15. I like 14K.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that answers all of our questions, Andrew.
Pleasure.
Thank you for having us over,
Oh,
buddy.
I'm
We
glad to
appreciate
have
it,
you
man.
over. Now I got some questions for Vic.
All right, let's do it.